What's up, guys, and welcome back to the YouTube channel. My name's Dylan Zachary, and I'm a graphic designer and music enthusiast. So today we're going to talk about a little band I got to go see a couple days ago by the name of The Who. So The Who formed in 1964, and they're currently on their North American final tour, The Song Is Over. Roger Daltrey, 81, and Pete Townshend, 80. They're making their trek city to city in the United States right now as we speak, and I had the pleasure of seeing them a couple days ago on the 10th of September. Our date in Philadelphia got postponed from August to September because of an illness in the band, but they made right by the situation and came right back around and performed for us. And I'm telling you, that performance was probably one of the best I've seen by The Who thus far, and I've seen The Who 3 times now. Out of all of them, that one was just magical. But yeah, but before we get into this little review, I just want to say thank you guys so much for checking out all my videos. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. It helps out so much. I really appreciate it. This channel is basically a graphic design, music, and life channel. If you enjoy anything graphic design or art related, like album designs, merchandise, posters, or just talking about straight up great music and life and concerts, be sure to check out more of my videos and like, subscribe, and comment. It helps out so much. The Who, established in 1964 with John Entwistle, Pete Townshend, Keith Moon, and Roger Daltrey. They've had a couple ups and downs throughout the years, with Keith Moon passing away in the late 70s and John Entwistle passing away in the early 2000s, but they're still trekking on. They had their first farewell tour in the 80s. In the community, it's kind of funny to poke fun at The Who because they've already had a farewell tour a couple different times, but I think this one is officially the last one for the simple fact that Roger Daltrey is 81 years old and Pete Townshend is right behind him. It's honestly crazy that they're still out there touring and kicking it and playing as good as they are. I mean, this past concert I got to see in Philadelphia was an unbelievable performance. I've seen The Who 3 other times, those 3 times being in 2019, 2022, and the other night in 2025. Out of all of them, they've always played great, and Roger always sounds phenomenal with his vocal range. This past show, I guess just because of the magicalness of knowing that this is probably going to be their final tour, and with them being the age that they are, I can see it being their final tour. It felt like that, at least for me, with the audience around, everybody excited and cheering them on, and even though they sounded great. So when we first got there, you could just feel the energy in the parking lot, everybody passing through the parking lot and, you know, just hooting and hollering, having a couple drinks and just having a good time. You can hear The Who at every corner of the parking lot, everybody jamming out, having a great time. It was a beautiful night. It was inside at the newly branded Xfinity Mobile Arena, and it was a great venue for them to be at. The sound was absolutely on point. I had tickets in the lower bowl around the 115 section. You could see right on the side view of the band, and that was honestly the perfect spot in the house. You could see the screens and you could still see the guys performing kind of up close. We had perfect seats on the lower bowl, and it was great being able to see them guys just really get into it. That was the closest I've ever been to a Who show. In 2019, we were sitting way far back in the nosebleeds, and they also performed at a baseball stadium for that one. And in 2022, we also had nosebleeds, and we were like just upper in the top part of the bowl in the back half, so you could see the screens and see all the effects and the lights and the dramatization, but you couldn't actually see them getting it. This specific show, you could see Roger twirling his mic and Pete, you know, doing the typical Pete arm thing where he spins his arm. It was really cool to be able to witness it with my eyeballs. Like I said, I'm going to say it a bunch in this video, 81 years old, man. They're in their 80s and they're still killing it. Who would have thought from bands back in the 70s, in their 20s, being on stage, doing what they do, they would still be doing it 60-something years later. I still can't believe it. That's why I always try to go see these legacy acts, and I try and hype up these legacy acts, because Roger Daltrey's voice was perfect, absolutely perfect for being an 81-year-old. He's still in the same key, he's still hitting those high notes. 2 of my biggest highlights of the show is Love Rain on Me and Won't Get Fooled Again. When he hits that extreme note in the middle of the song, something special about those moments in the concert, and I'm so glad that he's still able to hit those kind of notes. It's awesome to see in person and to hear and to feel, and everybody gets so excited when it happens. So to start off with the concert, they opened up with I Can't Explain. and then they just rolled into a bunch of hits. One of my favorites that they performed that was kind of in the middle of the set was Love Ain't For Keeping, and that one is kind of a deep cut, and it's off the Who's Next album, and it's just Roger's voice on that album is so strong and beautiful, and it was just as good live as it was on the album. And I'm so glad that one was in the set. To me, that's kind of a deep cut. I don't know if other Who fans would agree with me on that, but I feel like that's a pretty deep cut. He absolutely tackled that one and ran with it. It was a beautiful performance, and Pete was there right behind him, playing all the guitar solos and everything, and it was just so beautiful to see. I'm glad they played that one. And some other highlights throughout the show, they played My Generation, which of course is a classic that's been out now for 60-something years. Kind of funny when he hits the lyrics, I hope I die before I get old, knowing that he's 81 years old now and still out there kicking it, and he's still on the road and they're still doing it. It's just, you kind of have a chuckle when you hear him sing those words, and it's like, dude, you're still here, you're still doing it, and I'm proud to be here seeing it. But yeah, so My Generation was a great one, and of course all the hits, 515, Bob O'Reilly, Won't Get Fooled Again, Who Are You, Eminence in Front, all of them were absolutely spot on. I'm telling you, they must have felt bad rescheduling our date, because they came out and they were just swinging the whole time. Band was on point. The drum solos, even though it's not Mooney, the guy that's sitting in where Zach Starkey usually is, he was really on point. I know there were some controversies there for a little bit, but he was absolutely spot on, and I have to give it to him. He came in ready to play, and I'm happy for him. He's playing with the Who. That's a legendary moment for him. But all in all, the people around us were great. The music was awesome, and they ended the show with The Song Is Over, which is also off of Who's Next, and Teen Theater, which was two kind of slower songs, and it was just a really beautiful ending, and I am so thankful I got to go. For being a Wednesday night, couldn't ask for better energy from the crowd. Everybody was happy and excited to see the guys up there ripping away, and I don't really have any complaints, and if I had to do a ranking of this show, I would probably give it a 9 out of 10. You have to really be at the top of your game for a 10 out of 10, and not that they're not, it's just obviously you can see that they're a little old, and they're stumbling on a couple words here and there, and they're a little bit behind beat, but that's what makes a rock and roll show a rock and roll show. So, but if I had to give it a ranking, which I didn't plan on it, but I'd probably give it a 9 out of 10. At the end of the day, they're still out there rocking. People like the Stones and the Who, Eric Clapton, all those guys. The fact that they're still out there shredding and just having a good time doing what they love, I love to see it. You got to keep rock and roll alive forever, and that's exactly what they're doing. So the Who's merchandise was really cool too. They had some really cool shirts, some really cool designs, and they had some really cool posters too. I didn't pick up any t-shirts or posters from the actual band. I got me a crappy parking lot t-shirt because that's just my aesthetic. I love parking lot t-shirts a lot more. I collect parking lot t-shirts left and right. I know technically it's not supporting the band, but something about the gritty rawness of a parking lot t-shirt, like you probably can't see it on the camera, but there's like imperfections all over this. You can see where some spots where the ink didn't actually get clinged on, but the Who's merchandise was really great. Sometimes the merchandise that the band has is not that great. One of them that comes to mind is like David Gilmour's merch. When I saw him at the end of last year, his merch was just not that good, not that well thought out in my personal opinion. The Who's merch was really cool. As a graphic designer, I feel like I had to just touch base on the merch a little bit and talk about it. If you haven't seen the Who and you're thinking about it and you want to pull the trigger, I highly recommend going to see them. They have a couple more dates left of the North American tour, so I highly recommend going to check them out. They swear up and down this is the final tour, so I'm really curious to see if anything happens overseas or if they just do another round for the hell of it. I'm curious to see what happens in the future. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you went to the Who show. Let me know what your favorite song was of the set and what your thoughts were. Thank you guys so much for checking this video out. I'll catch you in the next one, and on that note, always rock and roll. Peace.